Hi guys, it's Panthers back with another video, and today I'm going to be predicting who I think will win each game in Week 4 of the NFL 2020 season. And before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know the plan for the channel is to upload this once a week, this series, for the near future, and to continue that because I'm very busy right now, so I'm only going to be able to get this one video up per week, but it is a longer video, so that's why I'm only doing once a week. And also, if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me down below because I make Instagram stories and I talk about sport news over there that I don't on here. So if you just want extra content of me and more sports news, go over there and follow me, and I'll leave a link in the description. Let's get right into the video. And also, before we get into the predictions, I just want to let you guys know I'm not using any face cam today, as you guys can notice. So let's get into the video, and I'll try to use face cam in the next one. I'm just not going to be able to in this one. Now let's get into the predictions. First, on Thursday Night Football on October 1st, so the first game in the NFL in October for this year, at 8:20 p.m., we have the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets in New York. I think the Broncos are going to win this game because I just don't like how the Jets are playing at all right now because they're just playing very bad. Sorry, any Jets fans, but I think you guys could tell they're just not playing well. A lot of their players are getting injured now. They're very weak on the receiver core. Their left tackle, Becton, has been injured. We'll have to see if he comes back. He got injured last week. And just overall, this team is very weak. This is the only team in the NFL that has never had a lead in a game this year. And the team that never had a deficit in a game was the Ravens, but that ended up being changed because on Monday Night Football, they ended up losing to the Chiefs and were down and never ended up coming back after they went down. Overall, I do think the Broncos will win this game. We'll have to see. Maybe Jerry Jeudy has a big game because Cortland Sutton, their star receiver's out for the year, so maybe Jerry Jeudy as a rookie comes and gets a huge game against the Jets here. And maybe Jeff Driscoll can have a good game, or Joe Flacco. We'll have to see who they start because Drew Lock's out. For the Jets, we'll have to see. Maybe Sam Darnold could get something going. I just don't see it because their O-line's a mess. Their receivers, they really don't have any receivers right now that are good. And running back, they have Frank Gore. So the whole offense is pretty much a mess in New York. So we'll have to see how it goes. But I think this Thursday night matchup is going to be a blowout by the Broncos. But maybe the Jets can come and surprise us, and Frank Gore can have a huge game. And they're whoever receivers they have right now, because there are a lot of undrafted guys and stuff. Because they're drafted guys that were supposed to play are injured, most of them, and then their normal receiving core like Jameson Crowder and others, they're pretty much all hurt too. So we'll have to see how it goes. Overall, I think this is going to be another bad game for the Jets, but maybe they'll surprise us. We'll have to see. And now let's get into the Sunday 1 o'clock games. All right, so the first Sunday 1 o'clock game on October 4th at 1 o'clock, we have the Saints taking on the Lions in Detroit. So I don't like how the Saints are really playing right now. They win Week 1 against Brady and the Bucks at home. And then they lose to Vegas on the road. In Las Vegas, they lose to the Raiders. And then they lose to the Packers at home by 7. But that game, I didn't think they were going to win. I thought the Packers were, so I'm not really surprised there. And I could maybe see people picking the Lions in this one because the Lions are a pretty good team. They're just kind of underrated. But I just don't think they're going to be able to beat the Saints because the Saints, when they lost to the Raiders, I think the Raiders are a way better team than people give credit to. And they also couldn't stop Darren Waller, so they need to be able to do that to beat the Raiders. And also, the Packers are a very good offense. They're the best offense in the league going into that game, so it would be pretty hard to slow them down and not give up a ton of points. So I am going to pick the Saints in this one, but I could see the Lions winning this one. If this was the beginning of the year, none of the games happened and everyone was healthy, I'd say no way they beat them. The Lions beat the Saints. I would say very rare. But now how the season's played out, I could see the Lions maybe coming in here and getting a win. But I do think the Saints will still get the win. So I'm going to go with the Saints win that game, and let's get into the next 1 o'clock game. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. So I don't like how the Chargers played last week against the Panthers. Because yes, the Panthers defense, I think, played better than they had so far this season. That was their best game. But I think the Chargers should have played a little bit better against that Panthers defense. And I just don't think Herbert had as good of a game. I feel like Herbert should have done a lot better. So I'm going to pick the Buccaneers to win this one. I hope the Chargers do, because if the Chargers do and the Panthers win, then the Panthers and Bucks are tied for the best team in our division. But I just think the Bucks are going to come and get a win and improve to 3-1 on the year. Chargers drop another game this season, and maybe we'll see Tyrod Taylor come back, but I think Herbert's still going to be the starter because I don't know if Taylor's going to be healthy. We'll have to see. but I do think the Bucs will get the win regardless. Now let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Jaguars taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. So Bengals are 0-2-1 on the year, tying with the Eagles in the last game they played. And then Jaguars coming off a Thursday Night Football embarrassment to the Dolphins. They were so bad. Gardner Minshew couldn't do very well. The offense just couldn't get going there for the Jaguars. And then the Dolphins offense was just going very well. So I would say for the Jaguars, that's an embarrassment, that game. But I think they come back here and beat the Bengals. I think Minshew has a bounce back. I don't think he loses twice in a row and loses to a team that's winless and has a tie. I don't think he loses to the 0-2-1 Bengals. So I'm going to pick the Jaguars to win this game. But I could see Joe Burrow having a great game and making this a game and making it until the last second, maybe getting a game-winning drive possibly. But I do think the Jaguars will still come out of Cincinnati with the win. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Vikings taking on the Texans in Houston. I know I picked the Texans last week to beat the Steelers, but the Steelers ended up winning. And I think in this game, the Texans will win because the Vikings, I just don't like how they're playing right now. Maybe, like, Kirk Cousins this season, he's been, like, okay, I guess, but, like, he hasn't been great. So I just don't know what to think of Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is just kind of inconsistent. So I'm just going to pick the Texans because Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. Just Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller are just not really the greatest 1-2 options. Like, Fuller would probably be good as a 2-3 option. And then Cooks should probably be like a 2. And there should be like one bigger, like better receiver. But there's not right now in Houston. So I think Deshaun Watson, if he had a better team around him, would show a lot better. Because he plays very well in most of his games. It's just since he has such a bad team, people don't realize that. And I think the Texans should try to get a number one receiver for him somehow. Maybe sign Antonio Brown once his suspension's over. He's still going to be a free agent whenever his suspension's over, so maybe sign him to come in and be the number one receiver. Try to trade for someone. We'll have to see what they do, or if they don't even try to do anything, because they ended up trading DeAndre Hopkins. But I am going to pick the Texans to win this game and finally get their first win on the year. Let's get into the next 1 o'clock game. Next, we have the Seahawks taking on the Dolphins. So in this one, I'm trying to think who to pick because the Dolphins came off a great win against the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football in Jacksonville, and the Seahawks are coming off a good win against the Cowboys. But the Seahawks now have a lot of injuries because Chris Carson's out for 1 to 2 weeks, and then their defense got hurt. Jamal Adams was hurt at the end of that game. So with all the injuries, I don't know how many people are actually going to play for the Seahawks and not. But I'm still going to go with the Seahawks because Russell Wilson, I just don't think you could stop Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, just the whole offense for the Seahawks. Because Russell Wilson right now, probably playing the best at quarterback right now in the league. Maybe Patrick Mahomes is playing a bit better, but I would say through the first 3 weeks, I think Russell Wilson is playing the best out of all the quarterbacks right now. So I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to slow that down. But I do think the Dolphins will keep this a close game. But I do think the Seahawks will come out with the win in Miami. Now let's get into the next 1 o'clock game. Next, we have the Steelers taking on the Titans in Nashville. The Titans are 3-0, but their games have been very close. They almost lost to the Vikings last week. In week 1, they almost lose to the Broncos. I know there's a few missed field goals and extra points and stuff, but still, they almost lost to the Broncos. And then they barely get a win over the Jaguars. The largest win they've had this season was against the Jaguars of a field goal. And their other 2 wins were by 1 point and 2 points. So I just don't think they're going to be able to get a small win over the Steelers. I think to beat the Steelers, they would have to have a huge lead, which I just don't see happening. So I'm going to pick the Steelers to win this game, stay undefeated, and for the Titans to take their first loss on the year and not stay undefeated. Let's get into the next game. Next game, I did want to add, I think Ben Roethlisberger right now for the Steelers is playing great, and that defense in Pittsburgh is also playing pretty well. So if they keep playing like that, I just don't think the Titans win this game. But I still do think the Steelers will win, and let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Browns taking on the Cowboys in Dallas. So this game I could see going either way in Dallas, but I'm going to pick the Browns because the Browns have been playing pretty well in their last 2 games, and I just don't think Dallas is as good as a team as people hype it up to be. I think it's just an overrated team, and I just don't think Dallas is going to play that good in this game. And I just think the Browns will play a bit better, but I could see this being a Dallas win, but I think it will be a close game, but the Browns will come out on top and get another win on the season. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Cardinals taking on my Panthers. So Cardinals did lose to the Lions last week. So with this one, Panthers played great last week. That was definitely their best game overall for both sides of the ball, I would say. You can maybe argue the Vegas game for offense, but I think overall that's their best team game. And I like how the offense was playing. Mike Davis came in and was a great replacement for McCaffrey in that game. I like how our defense was playing, forcing turnovers, getting an interception. I think we just played great overall, the Panthers. And the Cardinals, yes, they have DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, they have Kyler Murray. And they have a great offense. So with this one, it's tough for me to pick because the Cardinals are coming off a loss to the Lions. The Panthers are coming off a great win, looking very well against the Chargers in LA. So with this one, I think it's going to be a very close game. And I think the victors will be the Panthers. Why am I going with the Panthers? Yes, DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to get a lot of receptions, yards, probably a few touchdowns in there. But I think our offense is going to be able to get something going again. And this game is in Carolina. But I still do think that the Panthers will win this one. But I do think it's going to be very close. We might see the Cardinals come out on top. I could see this game going either way. I feel like it's a toss-up. At least that's how I see it, based on how the two teams played last week. But I am going to pick the Panthers, but I could easily see the Cardinals win this one as well. But I'm just going to go with the Panthers, and they would move out to 2-2 on the year and get back to 500 on a 2-game win streak. And maybe they continue that for another few weeks. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Colts taking on the Bears in Chicago. So I'm going to pick the Bears in this one because, yes, the Colts destroyed the Jets last week, but the Jets just haven't been playing good against anyone right now. So to me, that's not really that impressive. And the Bears, with Nick Foles now being the starter, I think that's a lot better than Mitch Trubisky because Mitch Trubisky I just don't think is a great quarterback. That's just my opinion. And I think Nick Foles is the right starter, at least for now, except if he starts playing really bad, then you bring Trubisky back. But based on how he played last week, I think he's definitely the right starter for this team. And I think the Bears will be able to go and beat the Colts. And I just don't like how Philip Rivers is really playing this season. Yes, he played pretty decently against the Jets, but as I already said, the Jets are not really that great of a team. So until he proves it against like a really good team, like if he could do good against the Bears, then I'll kind of believe in him a bit more in Indianapolis. But until he plays good against a good team, I still just don't think he's really playing that great this season because he only had that one game against the Jets where he played good. Let's get into the next game. Final 1 o'clock game we have is the Ravens taking on the Washington football team in Washington. So Ravens coming off that huge Monday Night Football loss, but I think the Ravens bounce back and get a huge win against football team because I don't think football team is going to be able to slow down Lamar Jackson. And Chase Young ended up getting injured last week in the football team's game. I don't know if he's going to be back or not, but if he's back or not, I still think the Ravens will win this game. I just think the Ravens defense is going to be able to stop the Dwayne Haskins-led football team's offense. So I'm going to pick the Ravens to win this one. And we'll probably see a huge bounce-back game by Lamar Jackson in this one. And let's get into the next game. Next at 4:05, we have the Giants taking on the Rams in LA. So same as the Jets, but not as bad. Is the Giants are just playing not very good right now. I just don't like how the Giants are playing. So I'm going to pick the Rams. And yes, the Rams did almost come back 28-3 against the Bills because they ended up coming back, but then the Bills ended up winning the game still. So the Bills were almost like the Falcons and blew a 28-3 lead, but they ended up securing it off with another score. And I think the Rams are just a better team than the Giants in this one. And with the Giants, we'll probably see Devontae Freeman get a few more snaps now for the Giants since this is his second game as a Giant. And maybe Daniel Jones and Devontae Freeman can have a great game with the run-pass mixture, but I just don't see that really happening against this Rams defense. So I'm going to pick the Rams to win this one and get another win on the year. Giants still 0-4 on the year, still don't have a win. Let's get into the next 4 o'clock game. Next at 4:25, we have the Chiefs versus the Patriots in Kansas City. So I think this game is going to be won by the Chiefs because I like how the Chiefs are playing right now on offense. And the defense is playing pretty good as well, I would say. And I just think they'll be able to stop Cam Newton and the Patriots. And I don't think the Patriots defense is going to be able to slow down Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and others. I'm just not going to name everyone. And I think this Chiefs offense is just going to perform a lot better than the Pats offense. And they'll end up getting a lot more points. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this game at home against the New England Patriots. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Bills taking on the Raiders in Las Vegas at 4:25 p.m. And in this game, I'm going to take the Bills because I think the Bills are playing great right now. Yes, they almost blew a 28-3 lead, but they did end up winning the game. And after all that matters is you get the W. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 point or 100 points. It's still a W, so that's all that really matters. But I do think the Bills will still win this game. So I like how Josh Allen is playing right now. He's playing pretty good. Hopefully he could play that way for the rest of the season for the Bills' sake. And Diggs, I think, is a great fit in Buffalo. Stephon Diggs, he's been a great number one receiver. And I do think that the Bills will get this win in Las Vegas because I just don't like how Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs played last week for the Raiders in New England. So I'm just going to pick the Bills to win this game in Vegas. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have Sunday Night Football. We have the Eagles taking on the 49ers in San Francisco. I have to go with the 49ers, I think, here, even though they have a ton of injuries, because we might see Raheem Mostert back. At the time of filming this video, he's still listed as questionable, so we might see him, might not. If he's there or not, I still think this will be a win for the 49ers, because the Eagles right now are just playing very bad. Another few losses for the Eagles, and we might even see Jalen Hurts come in as a starter over Carson Wentz, because Wentz is just playing so bad right now. He's thrown 2 interceptions in all 3 games so far, so that's 6 interceptions in 3 games. That's not very good, and the Eagles overall, they tied with the Bengals in their last game, so they're 0-2-1. I just don't think the 49ers lose to this team and give the Eagles their first win. So I'm going to pick the 49ers to win on Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football, we have the Falcons taking on the Packers in Green Bay. And I think this is going to be an easy win for the Packers because I don't think the Falcons defense is going to be able to slow down one of the best offenses in the NFL right now, which is the Packers. And the Falcons, even if they do somehow get a lead, I think they'll choke it away like they did in weeks 2, 3, pretty much every week so far. I think they'll choke it away if they do somehow get a lead, but I don't think they'll have a big lead. I think they might get up by 7 at the most, but maybe the Falcons come out, surprise me, get a lead, and actually hold on for a win, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game. You guys can let me know down below if you disagree with any of my picks, because it is my opinion, and I would like to see your opinions down below. And thank you guys for watching this video. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel down below, because it would really mean a lot to me. And I'll see you guys in the next video.